Hunter Biden defies Congress and snubs them and their subpoena, and he does it while he's standing right outside of Congress. Very, very disrespectful to James Comer and the Judiciary Committee. We'll see what they say about it because they had some reaction. Hunter was ordered to show up with a congressional subpoena to testify, and he did not. He kind of showed up, but he was just a couple feet away from going inside and doing the thing. The question is, what happens now that he has rejected their subpoena? Is he going to get indicted like Steve Bannon was? Is he going to get prosecuted like Peter Navarro was? He better. Here's what Comer said before the day's affairs. He said, look, this is before Hunter showed up. He said, all right, buddy, we have been clear. He posted this on December 12, 4:58. He says, listen, we've been clear. Hunter must appear for his depo, or the GOP Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee will initiate contempt of Congress proceedings. We'll see. We'll see. So this is what it looked like. Now, he was supposed to be there, and he showed up, and this is what it sounded like, and he's got a lot of bravado on it. I have to give his attorney and his defense team some props on it because it is a sideshow, right? It's going to give Jake Tapper an excuse to say every night on the air, well, he showed up to Congress. Well, he stood outside. He wanted a public hearing. James Comer, all of this. It's a big spectacle. His attorney is making a mess of the whole situation. He's, I would guess, causing the Republicans to fall back on their heels a bit, and we'll see what their reaction is. And he's also creating some gray area. So when this does get referred over, if it does, the DOJ can say, well, he was standing there on the front yard. Now we're going to watch this spectacle and listen to Hunter explain himself. This is what it sounds like as his attorney, Abby, walked him up to the stand.
Good morning. Mr. Biden is going to have a statement to make and will not be able to take any questions today. We appreciate you all being here.
I'm here today to acknowledge that I've made mistakes in my life and wasted opportunities and privileges I was afforded. For that, I'm responsible. For that, I'm accountable. And for that, I'm making amends. But I'm also here today to correct how the MAGA right has portrayed me for their political purposes. I am first and foremost a son, a father, a brother, and a husband from a loving and supportive family. I'm proud to have earned degrees from Georgetown University and Yale Law School. I'm proud of my legal career and business career. I'm proud of my time serving on a dozen different boards of directors. And I'm proud of my efforts to forge global business relationships. For 6 years, MAGA Republicans, including members of the House committees who are in a closed-door session right now, have impugned my character, invaded my privacy, attacked my wife, my children, my family, and my friends. They have ridiculed my struggle with addiction, they have belittled my recovery, and they have tried to dehumanize me, all to embarrass and damage my father, who has devoted his entire public life to service. For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here's my answer. I am here.
Go inside. Turn around.
Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved in my business, not as a practicing lawyer, not as a board member of Burisma, not in my partnership with a Chinese private businessman, not in my investments at home nor abroad, and certainly not as an artist. During my battle with addiction, my parents were there for me. They literally saved my life. They helped me in ways that I will never be able to repay. And of course, they would never expect me to. And in the depths of my addiction, I was extremely irresponsible with my finances. But to suggest that as grounds for an impeachment inquiry is beyond the absurd.
That's
it's
not what
shameless.
we're suggesting. Nobody's suggesting that.
There's no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business.
Financially.
Because it did not happen.
Well, there's some Chinese money in his bank account that came from
James
Biden.
Comer, Jim Jordan, Jason Smith, and their colleagues have distorted the facts by cherry-picking lines from a bank statement, manipulating texts I sent, editing the testimony of my friends and former business partners, and misstating personal information that was stolen from me.
The whole book, bro.
There is no fairness or decency in what these Republicans are doing. They have lied over and over about every aspect of my personal and professional life. So much so that their lies have become the false facts believed by too many people. No matter how many times it is debunked, they continue to insist that my father's support of Ukraine against Russia is the result of a non-existent bribe. They displayed naked photos of me during an oversight hearing.
Marjorie Taylor Taylor Greene.
And they have taken the light of my dad's love for me, and presented it as darkness.
Let it out, Hunter.
They have no shame.
Let it out.
These same committee chairmen have engaged in unprecedented political interference in what have already been a 5-year investigation of me. Yet, here I am, Mr. Chairman, taking up your offer when you said we can bring these people in for depositions or committee hearings, whichever they choose. Well, I've chosen. I am here to testify at a public hearing today.
Nice job.
To answer any of the committee's legitimate questions. Republicans do not want an open process where Americans can see their tactics, expose their baseless inquiry, or hear what I have to say. What are they afraid of? I'm here. I'm ready.
Go inside. Okay, so he obviously didn't answer any questions. He just walked away and left. And this is what the end scene looked like. We had a couple clips of that. He ends here.
Republicans do not want what I have to say. What are they afraid of? I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay, bye. His lawyer
Hunter,
grabs him.
are you willing to go across the street?
Go over there. Go over there. Are you going to even answer questions from us? He should have invited James Comer to come out. Honestly, he should have said, James Comer, come on out here. I'm right here. You want to ask me questions? Come ask me questions right now. I'll take any questions from the committee. I'm right here. Come take him right now in front of everybody. But he didn't even answer any questions, right? So it's a nice little gimmick. It's a nice little shtick there. I think it is a nice play. Like it's him sort of pretending like he's complying with the law. And a bunch of the smooth brains over there in the media are going to say, well, he was outside of Congress and he kind of complied with the law. And Comer did give him the option. And so they're going to really try to, create some gray area and make an argument that if they try to refer this over to the DOJ, that he did what he thought he needed to do to comply. Or, I'm just a dumb Yale lawyer. What do I know? So that is what Hunter said. Now, he just got in the car and left. You saw this clip here, which shows us that he just leaves. Hunter leaves after the press conference, just hops in the vehicle and he's out of there. So not actually answering any questions or doing anything that he said he's there to do. Hops in the car. Bye, Hunter. Thanks. Thank you. He says he's under unprecedented attack. What? You had multiple options to plead guilty to the most benign crimes ever, and now you're getting charged with just a small sliver of your actual criminality, and now you're saying you're a victim of political attack? All right. Well, as we heard, he said the word financially involved. That's the one that's catching everybody's attention here. Says House Judiciary says, this is a new qualifier that we hadn't heard before. And remember, they keep moving the goalposts, right? Karine said, no, he had no idea what his son did. No idea. Never even totally separated. Well, he kind of would, maybe talk with them. Okay. He would not only talk with them, but he'd also go to dinner with them. Okay. He would not only go to dinner with them, he'd also go to events with them and public events and long dinners and business meetings. Okay. Now business meetings, he's showing up. There's not, any evidence of, right. And it all just slowly continues to compound. And here they say this is the qualifier, right? He was not financially involved. This is from Judiciary. He admits that he and his dad were not just talking about the weather. The president is the brand. The story continues to change. And Don Jr. had a nice comment about this. Are they going to charge Hunter? Because Don Jr. showed up apparently 5 times to 5 congressional subpoenas. Here's what he said. Hunter just refused to show up for the congressional testimony that he was subpoenaed to be there for. I look forward to the same amount of outrage from the media as they'd have if I blew off any of my 5 congressional subpoenas. But since they're covering for Joe Biden and his corruption, I'm not going to hold my breath, obviously, right? And so the media is just going to take it. Hunter's a victim. Those dang Republicans are constantly attacking him. Here is what Congress said in response. And this was Comer, Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene is tucked away in the background. Here is what they said 10:13 in the morning after the news broke. Hunter is not showing up to his closed door deposition.
Ohio, let's see what they have to say. Initial reaction now.
Issued a lawful subpoena to the president's son that we expect him to come in and be deposed. This is a normal process in an investigation. This has been a serious, credible, transparent investigation from day one. We've published 4 bank memorandums. We've had countless press conferences. This is an investigation about public corruption at the highest levels. We have accumulated mountains of evidence that's concerning to an overwhelming majority of Americans. We have specific questions in there, and I think we're going to allow you in there to see the piles and piles of documents, of bank statements, of emails, of text messages that we've worked very hard on in this committee over the last 8 or 9 months. We expect to depose the president's son, and then we will be more than happy to have a public hearing with him. With that, I'll turn it over to Chairman Jordan.
Well, I would just echo what the chairman said. You know, we're disappointed that he didn't show up. I mean, he was just across the way at the Capitol. You think he could have come here and set the question?
No.
You do it in an open format now, and you're going to get filibusters, you're going to get speeches, you're going to get all kinds of things. What we want is the facts. And the way you get the facts, and every single investigation I've been involved in, is you bring people in for an interview behind closed doors where you can get those facts. And then, as the chairman said, we'd love for him to come public. Finally, I would say this. Mr. Biden's counsel and the White House have both argued that the reason he couldn't come for a deposition was because there wasn't a formal vote for an impeachment inquiry. Well, that's going to happen in a few hours. We think it's going to pass. We think the House of Representatives will go on record with the power that solely resides in the House to say we are in an official impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight. And when that happens, we'll see what their excuse is then. They should have been here today, but once we take that vote, we expect him to come in for his interview, for his deposition. And frankly, we'll also, I think, look at contempt proceedings as we move forward.
Okay.
With that, we'll take your question.
Okay, we'll also maybe look at contempt proceedings as a throwaway line. Oh my gosh. They're not doing anything. They should have had a contempt document and vote already done. He's not here. If he's not here at 9:15, a contempt warrant is issued immediately, and we're referring it over to the DOJ. Legislative referral. And you see what they do about it. But nothing. Man, they are so weak sometimes it makes me embarrassed. The reason we have to have a deposition is because it's more safe. No. We are Congress. We ordered you to be here. Act like Liz Cheney or Benny Thompson, for crying out loud. Get your butt here. He was standing across the street. He didn't show up. He snubbed Congress. We're voting on contempt. First order of business as soon as you walk out. Or if they don't have the authority to do that, then they shouldn't have bluffed, okay? Go do your stupid impeachment vote, which apparently just passed, which we'll cover next, and then issue the subpoena. Why did you do this? You just gave Hunter essentially a win. Let's see what the media says.
I just call this bluff. I mean, he's here and
it's a bluff, exactly. What did he say? Did he just call your bluff? Did he ask that question? It's a great question.
it's not wanting to sit for a deposition. This could be one chance you get to hear from him. Why not just call his bluff and see if he's willing to sit?
Because there's a way you do investigations, there's a way you're not. Every one I've been involved with, from clear back to the IRS targeting conservatives, to Benghazi, to the impeachment people, everyone, you do it in a way where they come in for private. This is what the Democrats did. Don Jr. had to testify twice in a deposition setting, 2 different committees. But somehow that doesn't apply to the Biden family? That's not how it works in our country.
Well, it's because the Democrats don't play around, Jim. They'll actually do stuff and throw people in prison for it and charge them with crimes. You guys just sit around and send letters.
It's supposed to be equal treatment, the same treatment under the law.
They don't play that way.
Biden said that his father had no involvement in business dealings, period. How do you respond?
That's not what Devin Archer said. There was phone calls, meetings, dinners, you name it. We know what happened with Burisma in Ukraine in that December 4th through December 9th timeframe, where Joe Biden goes and leverages conditions that American tax money on the firing of the prosecutor who was looking in to the executives of the very company Hunter Biden was on the board of. We know those facts.
Remember, Joe Biden said he never met with any of these people or talked to any of these people. That was the narrative before we began this investigation. Now we know he met with and talked to every single one of them. So the president hasn't been honest about his associations with these people who have been wiring millions and millions of dollars to Hunter Biden and the Biden family. Look, I think every American has a simple question. What did the Bidens do to receive the tens of millions of dollars from our enemies around the world? That's a simple question.
But Chairman Comer, do you acknowledge that you haven't answered that question and that you found no evidence of wrongdoing or criminal conduct?
We found some very serious evidence that you look at. No. The checks. There's 2 checks to Joe Biden from his brother that the money to give Joe Biden was through influence peddling. One was through the American. You asked the question. No. Listen.
Loan repayments that we all saw. We showed you the loan documents.
That is. You don't understand loan documents. I do. Okay. If I wrote you, if you pay me back $240,000 for a loan repayment, I should have a check going to you for $240,000.
Joe Biden's attorneys of
the law firm that represented all the shell companies.
Money.
That represented all the shell companies.
You think those lawyers?
What do you think? You're defending them. I mean, you're acting as
that's
a criminal
just a very serious crime.
Are you positive that that money came from Joe Biden? Look, we have a lot of questions. Next question.
Are you going forward with contempt?
I'll let you.
There's a process you have to follow. You have to file a report. So we will begin looking at that. Both the lawyers for the Oversight Committee, the lawyers for the Judiciary Committee, will move in that
We have to file a report, you know, fill out the form. I have to download the PDF and start filling it out.
direction. But look, when Congress asks you to come, you're supposed to come and testify.
Devin Archer.
Last thing, we also found
Jim Jordan wants to get the hell out of there. You can see him moving quickly for the exit.
checks checks from one of Hunter Biden's shell companies that were going into an account for Joe Biden monthly. They said that was a loan repayment. Oh yeah, everything's a loan repayment. Well, why did Hunter Biden will have an opportunity in deposition to come in and explain that?
In emails that you guys leaked from Hunter Biden's laptop.
I would like to have asked Hunter Biden about Mann Act violations, sex trafficking women across state lines.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
That one question, you don't seem to care about that.
Honestly, it's very embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They're finagling with the media. They're fighting with these people. They should come out. First of all, the scenery is just pathetic here. Okay, like they're like, you know, on the floor. They should have been on a podium very high, walked right out. James Comer said, that's it. We're done. We played around. We said be here at the time, and now you're done. And we're moving forward with contempt. No questions. Go ask Hunter about it. That's it. Instead, they spend here, you know, bickering with the media. It's really not good. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know why they can't figure this out. There is a lot there. But here is what they were waiting for. This is what the scene looked like. So holding Hunter in contempt. Here is what the Oversight Committee said. So I still don't know what they're doing about contempt. Hunter defied a lawful subpoena today, and we will now initiate contempt of Congress proceedings, is what they said at 9:51. Now, there will be no special treatment because his last name is Biden. Joe Biden and his family must be held accountable for their corruption. Okay, so Jim Jordan said that they're going to think about it and fill out some forms, and now Oversight says that they're going to move forward with it. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath on it. Now, here's what Joe Biden said, okay? They don't play around. When they're talking about Steve Bannon or when they're talking about Peter Navarro, they just threaten them with jail. Now, if you don't show up, we're going to put you in prison. And they're trying that with Bannon right now and Navarro. Here's Joe.
Talking to you so much today, you're not going to want to talk to me anymore. Sir, do you?
What's your message to people who defy congressional subpoenas on the January 6th committee?
I hope that the committee goes after them and holds them accountable.
Should they be prosecuted by Justice
I do,
Department?
yes.
Prosecute them.
Do you support term limits for the Supreme Court?
Yeah, prosecute them. So apparently Jim Jordan and the rest of them, they're going to go and get an impeachment vote, and then they're going to come back. Here's one more from Comer, I think, after they were able to collect their thoughts after Hunter and his lawyer caught them flat-footed. Oh, he's here? He's outside? Oh, crap. So here's what they said. They came back out. Here's Comer.
Chairman Jordan and I have been very clear. We issued a lawful subpoena to the president's son. This has been a 10-month investigation, a credible, transparent.
See this? Much better scene, okay? I like this much better. They're not being hounded by a bunch of chihuahuas barking at their heels. Bunch of media. Derp, 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 derp. Much better. Nicely done, guys. Good memo.
Investigation that has produced a lot of troubling evidence. We have lots of questions. Hopefully you all have had an opportunity to go in the committee room and see the boxes of documents that we've accumulated.
They don't care.
Tens of thousands of pages of documents. We have lots of specific questions. This is an investigation about public corruption at the highest levels of our government. The American people expect Congress to investigate this because I think one thing that Chairman Jordan's proven is the FBI, the DOJ, and the IRS, as we've heard from the whistleblowers, have all dropped the ball. So the House Oversight and House Judiciary Committee are conducting this credible investigation that an overwhelming majority of Americans want. We have specific questions for the president's son. He does not get to dictate the terms.
Sounds like he does.
Of this subpoena.
Sounds like he does. Sounds like he does. He didn't show up and you didn't do anything about it, so I guess he does. All right, well, I guess, what can you say? Congress, you know, doesn't have much to respond to now. We'll see if they get there. Hunty just snubs his nose at it. Shout out to Abby Lowell for, you know, catching Congress flat-footed. They come out there bumbling like morons. Maybe we'll do contempt. Did they think he was going to show up today? What was their plan B? They didn't have one. And now they're still, you know, finicking around with contempt. It's really a wild thing. So, all right, my friends, we're going to be here continuing to cover this. Thank you for joining us as we do. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button. If you want to follow along and sign up for our newsletter, or if you'd like to grab some new gear at the new Watcher shop, you can get your hats, you can get your sandals, you can get anything that's on the store that you can buy there at robertgovea.com/shop. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for getting some good gear. We'll look forward to seeing you back here on the next one.